Welcome back to the shop, everybody. This is Todd with Industrial Comfort. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make an epoxy river style keepsake box with some 3D printed fish, which I've inlaid here. Now it's got hidden barrel hinges and magnetic latches. Very cool little project. I ended up making this for my daughter, and as you can see, the results are pretty cool. Let me show you how to make one of these. Now this block of walnut, which I've double-sided taped to the top of the workbench here, is going to serve as our top. And there are two ways that we can create the channel on this top. The first of which is we could just cut it on the bandsaw, drop it into a mold, and pour our epoxy. Or we can use the method that I am going to use, which is mount some wood that has been pre-cut and double-sided tape to the object here, and then use our router to go ahead and route out the shape. I'm just going to kind of micro adjust these here to a position that looks about right. I'm going to press these down, get them in place, and then what I'll do is I'm going to use a plunge bit, an up spiral bit, and I'm going to mark the location. I also have a guide on my router that's going to run along the edge here, and I'm going to go down in 1/8 increments. Now I'll probably actually just go all the way. It's going to be easier for me to go all the way on the end. Sometimes with a bigger piece I'll plunge and then kind of go through so I don't have to worry about cleaning up the ends, but I'll show you in a minute what I'm going to do. Okay, with the river channel now cut, I've backed some double-sided tape to the ends here, and I'm just going to stick 2 pieces of plywood here to the ends, and this is going to prevent, or at least hopefully prevent, the epoxy from leaking out. And then what I'm going to do is just, I'm going to use some glue to seal up the ends. Actually, you know what, before I do that, I'm actually also, well no, I'm going to use some glue, and then I like to seal things with some foil tape. I've just never had any of these things not leak, and so I like to just be extra sure when I'm putting this stuff together. All right, with that done, I am now going to pour some extra epoxy I had from a project last night. It's very viscous, but I think I don't want to waste it, and I think this will fill the bottom nicely. I don't want to go too thick, so we'll start with this. We'll let things kind of even out. I might get a heat gun, apply some heat. This should settle out, and then we'll let it cure before we drop in our fish. Okay, so the resin has had time to partially set up, so it's nice and tacky. So I'm going to begin dropping in the outlines or the silhouettes of these little fish. Now, my daughter ended up choosing the color, as I am making this for her, and she wanted glow-in-the-dark green, which, interestingly enough, you know, they start white, and I think this will be a nice contrast to what we've got here. So I am going to drop these in place. Okay, now I'm going to mix up some clear and I'll pour it over. Now I've never done a perfectly clear pour before, so curious as to how this is going to turn out. Looking great, actually. No bubbles, and if any do form, I'll bring the heat gun over and release the bubbles. But yeah, I think this is going to look awesome. I can see a few in there, so we'll get the heat gun on this and clean it up, and we'll let it sit for a few days. The epoxy is now thoroughly dried, so I'm going to knock these pieces off with a rubber mallet, and I'm going to trim everything up so it's nice and square. I also noticed I've got a little bit of a corner that was knocked off here before I even did anything. So I'm just going to cut this a little narrower here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double-sided tape to this piece of reference plywood here, and I'm going to run it through my planer until we can match the level of the wood here to the level of this clear epoxy before we begin shaping out the bottom of the box. I finished planing and trimming the top, and it's definitely more translucent than I expected. Not the exact look I was going for, but it'll still be fine. I now have a planed block of walnut. This is probably about 2 1/4 inches thick, and I'm going to use this as the base of the box. And what I am going to do now is just make sure things are evenly in line, and I'm going to use my pencil to trace the outside of the lid here so that we can use this as our reference point. I realize I'm going to be wasting a little bit of wood here, but I'm going to need some space along the edges here to mount some double-sided wood tape and some pieces of wood so that I can run my router around the area that we're going to use for the inside of the box here. So now that I've got the outline traced, I am going to mark, I think I'm going to give a 1/2 inch wall thickness all the way around. So I'm going to draw some lines around here, and then I'm going to place some wood all around, which is going to be the guide that I'm going to use for my plunge bit on the router to start developing this cavity. Now, once I get the wood laid out, I'm going to bring over to my drill press so that we can remove a lot of this material ahead of time. It's going to be a lot easier once we start using the router. Okay, I've drilled out using probably an 1.25 inch drill bit to core out most of what's going to be the cavity for the bottom of this box. I've then, as I mentioned, ringed the outside with pieces of wood with double-sided tape. Now these are all the same thickness as we're going to use the router here to glide over the top. And I've got a bit here that's got a bushing, and this plunge bit is going to allow the bushing to ride along the edge here, and it's going to cut everything in line with where the bushing rides. So we're going to go down in 1/8 inch increments until we get down far enough, and then I'm probably going to switch bits to a dish bit so we get a nice rounded edge along the inside. Now I've also double-sided taped this to the workbench here so it doesn't move around. Okay, with this now cleaned out, I realized in the previous step I mentioned that I was going to use a dish bit to round over the bottom here. Well, it's a different diameter than the bit that I used to core out this box, so I'm not going to be able to use that, which is fine. So I'll just give this a sand, and then I'm going to bring over to my workbench now. We're going to mark the location for where we're going to mount the hinges and the magnets for the box. For the hinges, I'm using these 8mm hidden barrel hinges. Now, truth be told, I can't stand using these things. It's really hard to drill the holes for them because even an 8mm drill bit will be ever so slightly too small. And so you have to sand the holes. It's a mess. And you also have to make sure that you get the depth exactly right. But it's really the only thing that will work without having to use a chisel to create a mortise to have the hinges hidden, unless you don't mind a little gap between the top and the bottom here. So what I've done is I've measured in 4mm from the edge of each side of the box here, and where those lines intersect, I've dimpled the wood with a punch, and I am going to drop some BBs, into these little holes, or little dimples, and I am now going to line my my river top up with the previous line that I had drawn, which honestly I can't really see that well, so I'm gonna redraw it real quickly. And then I'm just gonna use a rubber mallet to tap the top here to get the holes transferred to this side, and then we'll know where we need to drill. All right, we got our reference holes, so now we'll bring over the drill press and drill the holes. The holes have now been drilled, so I've placed the hinges in, and now we're just going to drop the top on. By the way, I used a 5/16 inch drill bit to make the holes, and actually this time they came out a little, just slightly oversized, so we'll use some glue, or they come with these little tiny set screws that maybe we'll try out. So now, with this in place, I am going to bring over to the saw, and I'm just going to trace the edge here. I could use a flush cut bit, but there's a lot of material here. I'd rather just use a saw and get everything cleanly cut. Now, the one downside about using these hidden hinges is that you have to chamfer the edges. As a matter of fact, you got to get very close to the edge with your holes as well. So I trimmed this up on the miter saw to get some better clearance. And now I got a chamfer bit here that I'm going to use to get the chamfer going. Now, I've done a little sanding off camera, and the final step is to create the pockets for the two magnets that are going to keep the lid closed. Now, these are 1/4 inch by 1/8 inch magnets, and so what I've done is, and we're going to use the same approach, I've created a little dimple using a punch. I'm going to drop a BB in there, and I'm just going to push the lid down, and we've got a mark up top, and we've got the mark that we created. So this will give us our reference point, and now we're just going to drill this out with a 1/4 inch drill bit with the depth stop. It's at a hair over an 1/8 inch, so that these are nested just slightly below flush. All right, it's time to get these magnets in permanently, and I always mark with an indelible marker which side goes down. You never want to make the mistake of gluing these things in the wrong way, as that's going to be a disaster, and I've made that mistake before. Again, indelible mark facing down. We'll press these into place, and then I'm going to use some activator to speed up the drying process. Now, these hinges come with these little set screws that go on either side of the hinge here, but to be honest with you, it would make a mess. So I'm just going to use some CA glue here, and I'm going to fill the cavity, and I'll use some accelerator here. And the reason I'm going on the sides here instead of lining the hinge is that I don't want any of the glue to get into the mechanism and ultimately prevent it from opening. The final step, which is always my favorite step, is putting the finishing coat on. In this case, I'm going to be using some mineral oil. And we're going to call this a wrap. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks for watching.